Hi, it's Sally-Shakti, your Star Priestess and Visionary Writing Guide, and welcome to this really special edition for the new moon in Gemini. And I'm really excited to welcome Morgana, Sophia. Beautiful Morgana. We're going to be talking about our books today, and we're going to lead you in a couple of practices for the Gemini new moon as well. So I'm going to start just by opening up the space with, if you saw my recent YouTube video, you will know that I have been practicing working with the Bronze Age mother language that I've been learning from Carolyn Hillier's books and songs. And I wrote a Bronze Age prayer. And this is going to be the first time that I'm going to recite it without it sitting there in front of me. Noibo Nani, Noibo Swidla, Noibo Matirja, Noibo Fanonavalo, Nawan Kaja Weiko, Klino and Molyayo, Klino and Dona. Noibo Nani, Noibo Matirja, Noibo Swidla, Noibo Fanon Abalo, Nawan Kajon Weiko, Klino and Molyayo, Klino and Dona. Noibo Nani, Noibo Matirja, Noibo Swidla, Noibo Fanon Abalo, Nawan Kajo Weiko, Klino and Molyayo, Klino and Dona. So, Morgana, maybe you can introduce us to some of the new moon in Gemini energies that we're working with today.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much, Sally-Shakti, and great to be with you on this such a potent Gemini new moon. So Gemini is the moon of the scribal goddess, and what better day that you and I decide to kind of reveal our book covers as well. So there's a lot of planets in Gemini. I've been doing quite a few readings this morning, and a lot of air in the chart at the moment. A lot of feeling really ungrounded, but it's also about connection. It's about community. It's about collaboration. So we're really coming into this cycle where we're being encouraged to communicate and really communicate from our heart. And that's really emphasized by Jupiter coming into Gemini, expanding our words, expanding our vision. And also we've got Saturn square to the moon as well today, which is really adding in that layer of discipline. So making sure that we are really disciplined in all that we do, disciplined in our communication, and really getting into a place where we're comfortable communicating. And Gemini is ruled by Mercury, often related to our throat, a place where for many of us we hold a huge amount of trauma, a huge amount of wounds. So a lot of healing for people going on around their throat area. Today I was reading for someone earlier on as kind of a beautiful mixture of astrology and kind of intuition from goddess, and it was all about throat. So whatever you do today and however you set your intentions, maybe try and speak them out loud, no matter how hard it feels, get them out into the universe. And that's how I'm really feeling into this new moon. Don't know how you're finding these beautiful energies.
I mean, absolutely. And I'm going to share with you my intentions in a moment, but I think just building on what you were just saying about speaking out loud, speaking into the world, speaking into creation, speaking into existence. I mean, that energy is so potent right now. We can manifest through our throat chakras when we are aligned, and when our intention is aligned with our highest purpose and our highest outcomes, we can manifest through our throat chakras. And so this prayer that I shared at the beginning has been coming through really strongly for me, just to work literally with that language that Carolyn Hillier put down in her book, reading it like a dictionary, like as if I was learning a new language, making my own little translations, creating my own affirmations and prayers, and speaking them out loud, and really working with that energy of creating new ways to communicate, or finding new and expansive ways to communicate. Because I think the key for me is that when we communicate through our words, through our speaking and our writing, we speak into the void and we speak into creation. We bring things into being through the vibrational frequencies that we embody as we work and weave with words.
And when you were saying the prayer, and I forgot to say, it was just so beautiful because the language is very deeply resonant, not just on an ancestral level, but as I'm listening to you, it's almost for me a form of light language, like an earlier dialect. So it felt very comforting, very as if it was stimulating something with a deep within a DNA. And through that, the ancestors are speaking again because our wherever we have been in our past lives at the moment, the messages that we've left for ourselves in the stars and in the stones are really coming through at the moment. So it's fascinating that you're connecting to the ancient language, yet I'm connecting into that galactic language of light language, yet the two just seem so intertwined. Essentially, it's just such a beautiful thing, and I'm really hoping next time we're sat together in person, you might be teaching us some of that. That would be awesome.
Absolutely. This is something that's coming through very strongly for me too. And that sense of it's really non-linear and it's really multidimensional, that we are here in this physical form on this plane right now, and we are embodying both the ancient and the future. And as you say, it's speaking through us. And it's this beautiful paradigm of who we have been, who we are now, and who we can become. And I don't mean that from an egocentric perspective. I mean that from a really widely embodied perspective. The Bronze Age language that I was using there embodies the elements, the stones, the earth, the rocks, the river. You can feel them in your bones when you hear that language in ways that our modern English doesn't and has become separated from. And so when we can work with alternative modes of communication, variously that they are, it could be light language, could be ancient languages, can be many other things, they open up that very powerful resonance of our ability to manifest, embody, and create.
And so potent that we're mixing all this communication and connection and collaboration on the 6/6 portal as well. So there's huge amounts of wisdom coming in from the cosmos, from the earth herself. It's a really potent and powerful day for setting intentions as well. So I have to go and set mine after our call. But do tell us, what have you set your intentions around communication, I presume?
Absolutely. I have got my list of new moon intentions here, just the 4 words that have got a really strong resonance for me with this new moon energy: connection, communication, visibility, and expansion.
Beautiful, really potent words. And I think when I'm going to be sitting down and really kind of feeling into it, it's how am I using my communication to speak from my heart? It's going to be a lot of energy around changing the way that we communicate. So we're speaking not just to people on a very mental level, but we're speaking to them on an emotional level, but also, for me, more importantly, that we're vibrating our words at an energetic level. And I think we're going to see language shift and change over the next year, particularly with Jupiter in Gemini. And it's going to really, it's like panning for gold. We're going to find the people who share the same tones, because Gemini rules tones, sounds, and vibrations. So I see our language shifting into a more feeling language. And some words, when we're trying to explain things, there's no resonance for the word, it's just a knowing. You and I can just sit and we know what each other's saying without verbalizing it. I think that's going to be the next leap in communication before obviously we all become telepathic.
Absolutely. I really resonate with what you're saying. I mean, we have got Venus in Gemini right now. Venus star point, full Venus conjunct the sun in Gemini right now. And that's bringing a lot more of that heart resonance into the way that we communicate, really opening up. And with Jupiter there as well, expanding that field of resonance. And I feel like Jupiter is really paving the way and opening up those Gemini channels of communication for when Uranus comes in and really starts to stir up the cosmic and visionary modes of communication. Telepathy, yes, I think it will become more widespread, but right now, personally, still feel like there's a strong case for verbalization and vocalization and writing, because when we bring words into the physical world, we make them material, and we can make change in the physical world, just like we would do in a ritual or a ceremony. We're making change in the physical world through our intentions and actions, and that's how on a very practical level, words and language work.
And agreed. And although, you know, it'd be nice to kind of read everybody's thoughts, actually, because we've had so much persecution around speaking our truth for so long, actually, we have to go through the physical before we get the non-physical. I see that as a very, you know, several generations ahead of where we are. But it's reclaiming the voice, essentially, reclaiming the tones and vibrations of the divine feminine to merge with the masculine before we can move on. There's a lot of throat healing to do, I feel.
Oh, absolutely. And imagine when that's all just song and tone and intention and color.
So wonderful.
So speaking of, yeah, I know you're going to say it as well. Speaking of bringing words into the world, we are both going to tell you about our books.
Most certainly are. And I'm going to hand over to Sally-Shakti first, because at the moment she has the physical copy in her hands. So
I've got the
have a little
physical
ta-da
words.
moment.
I've got the physical words. Woo! Yay! This is what happens when we bring words into book form. They become real, they become physical in ways that are very, very empowering and potent, and that we can share with others, you know, very transportable, portable, shareable. And, you know, there is something about them being material as well on that level. So yeah, the book is there. Sorry, I didn't hold it up for very long, but that's mine. Writing and Thriving, Writing Tips and Wellbeing Tricks for Visionary Writers by Sally-Shakti Willow. I can tell you a little bit about this book, which I like to share. Sometimes it's off-putting for people, but the truth is I wrote the first draft of this book in 3 days. I was on a writing retreat. So I would say there were probably it was an intensive writing retreat. There were many hours of writing, but over 3 days, the first draft of the book came out pretty much in one fully formed piece. And then when I went initially to redraft it a little while later, I was working with an academic, and the feeling response that I got from that person was that anything that could have been written in such a short amount of time wasn't worth publishing, and wasn't worth writing. So me being at a low point when I had that conversation, I kind of took it in and looked again at the book and thought, no, this is rubbish, I'm going to leave it. So I didn't do anything with it, and that was 2 years ago. And then at the beginning of this year, at the spring equinox, when we started this journey together, we started co-creating this journey together. This new offer, this new program that I created to write and publish your visionary book in 90 days. There was you and there's David writing your books. And I thought, well, I think I've got a book here, you know. And I took another look at it. And for me, I spent that time on the redraft and have brought it together as it currently is. And now it's ready to go out there in the world. You know, I really realized that, you know, one of my key mantras in my teaching is that done is better than perfect. You know, I realized that there is enough value, enough wisdom in this book that is worth sharing, that if I didn't share it, I was holding it back. And also that actually I know there are many more books that I need to write, and that if I don't write the first one, then I'm holding them all back. So there was a big process in that for me of actually getting to the point of realizing this book is good enough to go out, and I want to share that with people, and I want people to benefit from what I can say and what I can share and my experience.
And having had a sneak peek of it myself, I can tell you it's more than good enough. Enjoyed it. So
oh, bless you. Thank you.
Looking forward to getting my physical copy in my hand.
Absolutely, so exciting. And talking of physical copies, you've got your book coming out too, so tell us about it. Give us a title reveal and tell us all about it.
So, drum roll, please. It is the Starfire leaders of the age of Aquarius, and it's all about new Earth leadership. So, it's really about you harnessing the power of your heart to step into your true north and lead really confidently, really effectively. We look at your north node in your birth chart, so a little bit of astrology mixed in there, but we really look about what it means to be a heart led leader, tips and tricks to help you really align your energy, but also we talk about some of the icky stuff that we don't really talk about in the kind of spiritual community. We look at spiritual bypassing, spiritual ethics, what happens if we have been abandoned by another person, or we've abandoned another person, what I call spiritual abandonment, because we need to be bringing up these topics now to make sure that we're really truly leading from our heart, and we're not causing destruction as we move into our full power. So, covering slightly more controversial topics, I like to think. That's my stellium in Scorpio, speaking the truth as it comes out. But yeah, really, really important that we step into our new Earth leadership and lead from our heart without fear, speak and communicate from our heart, and really change the paradigm of leadership, moving from that kind of pyramidical structure into a place where we can all be sat around a round table, and all be equal and all have a contribution, that no one person is greater than the other. Just it happens that another person could be the expert. So I'm super excited about it. I wrote mine in slightly longer than 3 days. So I set the intention at the Sagittarius new moon in December that I would lay the foundations and the seeds for my book. We started at spring equinox, and I literally pressed send and sent it to you on the full moon in Sagittarius. So it was quite a epic transformation. And at the same time, midway through, decided that I wasn't going to write my book under my real name. I was going to write it under my priestess name. So that's been a whole evolution itself as well. So yeah, utterly recommended though, if anyone wants to write a book in 90 days. It can be done, 3 days or 90 days. It's a really, really powerful process. So I'm super, super excited to be sharing it in the world. And we'll both be in Glastonbury on the 21st of June launching our books.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It is such an empowering process. It's really alchemical when you bring something to birth into the world in a physical way like this. You know, if it's a book, my sense of what's happening is we have all of these kind of abstract ideas, you know, and then when we bring them into coherence in ourselves, we reach a point of greater internal alignment, greater internal coherence, and something in our inner world shifts. And that then also has cosmic ramifications in our outer world, and the shifts that then come along with that.
Which have, for me, as you well know, been incredibly powerful and incredibly potent. It was this massive kick from Goddess to realign my timeline. So, yeah, what knows book 2 is going to bring for both of us. It's
Absolutely, it's so magical. And speaking of magic, we would love to invite you now to step with us into some light language that Morgana is going to share, and finish with an invocation to Ariane Rod, the cosmic star goddess.
Yeah, so I've been asked to bring through a little bit of light language to heal our throat chakras. So just taking that moment, if you can just close your eyes, just listen to the tones and the vibrations. Let it do its magic. Yualai suratekai ikurlet thirusliata. Urla echayus luthrehayato. Yallo yallo luriketia. Suyar lokaya luthirusletaka. Yellow, Irodekai, Rote, Sradaya. You are a thirsty Soya. Yolaya, Surakai, Roteata. You Sula, Roto, Yarote. Sumare, in the womb of the great goddess I was born. I am starlight in physical form, lady of the land, the star, the skies and sea. I breathe in you, you breathe in me. I am sunlight wrapped in skin. The universe is without and within. Goddess, expand my vision, awaken my light. Let me see with your owl sight. Let me become your vessel, pure, clear, and true. Lady, I surrender into you. So, Lady, calling you forward into all our lives to heal our throat so that we may communicate from our heart without fear. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Noivo briga. Noivo wedge. Kajo sweetla. Blessed be.
Blessed be.